Greetings, Pokefans! Zack Attack here, and today we're going to be going over some other matches that were a while ago, because it took me a while to record this, to get to it. But we're going to go ahead and go over the endings, or of MDL and ODL in this episode, or at least we'll get to MDL quarterfinals. We won't get to ODL quarterfinals, but we'll get to at least MDL. Because these were the last regular season weeks in both of these leagues. That's why I'm kind of calling it the end. And it's going to be very, very interesting. And it was the end of a few very good chapters, actually, in my draft league career. We'll start with MDL Week 8, because that was the first battle in order. And that was going up against Zach Parrott, who he told me 30 minutes before we were supposed to be battling that he did not build a team, and asked me if I wanted to fight him or take the forfeit win. And I was going to take the forfeit win, but I was like, in case there's a rematch later in the postseason, because if I get number 2 seed, which I clinched, and he gets number 3, I win my quarterfinals game, and I have to play him more than like the following week. So I played him for information. That was the reason why I accepted it. I played him for information. And I ended up losing 1-0. Mainly because of Muck. That Muck, I did not expect that to be there. I'm going to be completely honest. I figured it would be Grumpig, because Grumpig was his main Terra captain, because Muck is a Terra captain as well on his side. But I expected Grumpig. But I didn't really hate my team. My strategy was good. But Electro just being so fast, and with choice specs being able to give a boost to its special attack and damage output was the one thing that was able to clean me up. And I played Venom off terribly that game. I did not play it that well. Sending it out in front of Muck, what was I thinking? I did almost win. That Crocodile was Focus Sash. If that Crook was not Focus Sash, I probably could have and would have won that game. I'm going to be honest. So that Cincino, just, it wasn't that bad, but that knockoff did way too much to my cryo. That kind of hampered my style a little bit. He definitely played overall better than I did. So I'll give him that. Like a 1-0. A 1-0 is not terrible. A 1-0 is not terrible. And it was just enough to keep him from overtaking me. So, and it ended up not really mattering. Because that game to me didn't really matter too much, as long as I had kept it close, in which I did. So it didn't really matter to me that much. ODL Week 7 is next on the list. And that game honestly might have been game of the season. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not. That game honestly might have been game of the season. Because here's the thing. I went into this battle fully expecting to get my booty handed to me upon the finest of China. And the thing is that he kind of missed. He told me he had messed with his prep a little bit. That Ambipom was supposed to be Terra Ghost. And if he had the right Terra on it, he said he would have Terra'd it turn 1 against the Slowking, which I find kind of weird. I find kind of weird that he would have burned his Terra that early, but he said he would have. So honestly, if that was the case, honestly, that misprep actually saved him. Because the Electro Terra was what I was expecting, and in my opinion, was the more preferred Terra on his option. Which was, I was expecting Terra Fairy. I did prep for Terra Fairy, to be clear. So that definitely saved him. In mocks, my front office cooked way too hard with the mock team. way too hard. This guy had Assault Vest, Roaring Moon, Weakness Policy, Iron Hands. He didn't even bring the Terra Captains. Bro brought a Weakness Policy, Trip from Diancie. He loves that set way too much. I'm not gonna lie. He had Manaphy on there. Manaphy didn't come to this game, which I thought was kind of crazy. So yeah, there was no Manaphy. Dragonite came, and he didn't bring Dragonite in Mox because I got a snow team. So, but he wanted to bring it. So, let him bring Dragonite. Let me get a free kill on it too. Might I add. Yeah, it would. Bro, this guy is evil. My front office is evil. He's an evil man. Golly gee. So I knew Fauster was not the one guy to cook that hard, but I couldn't help but worry. Okay, so going into this, as the turns kept going, the more and more confident I got. I sacked lands earlier than I should have, but outside of that, honestly, I was kind of steamrolling a little bit. Donphan was pulling a lot of the weight early on, which I was not expecting it to do, courtesy of both the Earthquake and the Ice Shard. Are you kidding me? Because we talked after the battle. We talked a lot after the battle. Mainly stuff talking with my front office guy. But I saw the conversation. Bro was like, Donphan is Ice Shard? I didn't know that. I was not expecting that. So I was like, yay me. All right, so let me cut. All right, let me cut. And I was like, I'm doing pretty good right now. So, and it came down to the end where it was Uni against the world. It was a 3v3. He had the Electrode, the Iron Hands, and the Diancie left. And I had Curum, Glow King, and Uni at that point. And so it was a perfect 3v3. And I was like, okay, what's my win what's my win play here? And Uni, it was I wouldn't call it a last second edition, but it kind of was at the same time because I prepped it like the same day as the battle. I thought about Assault Vest Uni being able to tank hits on this Suing Electrode. And this Electrode, thankfully, was not as terrifying as Zac Parrots. I was able to sack off the Pokemon I had in front of me to a Terra Blast, so that thing was locked in to Terra Blast. I Sector Bomb me to it. And I knew it was locked into Terra Blast. If I go Glow King does live, or at least it should. But he is spec, so he's probably going to switch out. So it's like, what's the point in going Glow King when I can just go Uni? And potentially, like, and potentially, like, can I, like, maneuver myself into the right spot? And I did. That was fun. So, Uni took care of the Asuian Electrode, no problemo. And then it kind of just snowballed from there, and Uni was able to clean up the last 2 months after I got Iron Hand shipped down enough. And the battle ended because we were doing Link battle. It was a 30-minute. It was like a 20-minute timer. The moment that timer was at 0 was when Uni got the final kill. It was so anticlimactic. It was awesome. And at this point, Uni, I think, was 2 kills away from being kill leader. 2. Because the current kill leader was, I want to say, Dyer's Blood Moon Ursaluna. And for good reason. So, what I had thought about was I need Uni to get 2 kills because Uni has the higher diff than Bloom and Ursaluna if I want to get Uni kill leader. And now we're going into ODL Week 8 against Needle. And I knew I was going to win this game. Needle sucks. No offense to him, but he's just not a good coach. He just sucks. Bro brings specs to Rapagos when I have like a whole bunch of had stackers on my team. Like, bro, what are you doing? I wasn't expecting Sticky Web. I wasn't expecting Viper Bolt to come. I mean, I guess I had it in the back of my mind, but I wasn't expecting him to actually lead off with it and it'd be a weakness policy set. And this was supposed to be Pyroar's week. It's for its first game, and it just gets nuked by Volt Switch. So, But I mean, hey, but Pyro kind of did good in Mox. I'm not gonna lie. Needle not having Overpound Cornerstone on the other side definitely saved my arse because that thing was the most terrifying mon to fight in Mox, just overall. And actually, he brought Terra Fairy Glass straight air. He always brought Terra Ice, never Melt Ice, or a Choice Spin, depending on the matchup, and it was just like his glass was Choice Spin in his matchup, to be clear. But I just was not expecting Terra Fairy. I just wasn't. I don't know which one for me. And because he hasn't brought that. From what I saw, he hasn't really brought that much all season, if at all. And I was just like, well, let me cook. So that was fun. And Uni, this was the one time where Uni was Terra Ground. Because all the other weeks, I brought Terra Flying or Water. This was the first matchup where I felt comfortable bringing Terra Water. Or Terra Ground. Because he's got a Heatran. He got a Heatran in a trade with Silverhawk. So, because he had a Heatran, I was like, okay. And, you know, a bunch of other things that were weak to ground, I'm like, that Pokemon being the main one, let me do this. Because, while Terra Ground can't hit the Corviknight that he had, Uni is also electric type, so it was the perfect Corviknight counter as well. And while Terapagos is bulky, and Uni had a boosting item, I had an extra belt on it. It just wasn't really going to do much to the Terapagos. I was going to Eerie Impulse it to weaken it. But I'm like, if I can get this thing chipped down no for the Terra Ground, Terra Blast, Curon being my last Pokemon at the time, can just revenge kill it with like an Ice Beam or a Flash Cannon. So I just said, F it, we ball. And Uni ended up getting 3 kills that battle on the Glass, the Corviknight, and the Heatran, cementing its spot as the kill leader of the season. And that's what you wanted to see from the bus. My favorite play that game was not even from the bus. It was from my Dawn fan. Dawn fan was boots this matchup, and I was able to get it in on and spin away that Choice Specs Terapagos because it killed my Tauros with a Thunderbolt. So I knew, okay, this thing is very clearly Specs. Let me bring in my Dawn fan, force the switch, get a rapid spin off, and get these sticky webs out of here. And what came in was the Swampert. So I'm like, okay, he brings in Swampert. He doesn't know I have Seed Bomb, and I know he's a leftovers Yawn set with rocks as well. So let me kill it. And I did. I'm very glad I killed it. Very, very happy to see that. I had the speed investment to outspeed the Swampert anyway, because I was running, I think it was like 84 EVs in my speed, just so that I would outspeed it, because I am evil and I am that guy. But it ended up not mattering because I got a rapid spin off anyway. So it wouldn't have mattered in the long run. It's just like, in case I don't have a speed boost up, let me EV this real quick. You know what I mean? So I was like, well, let me just do this just in case. And it ended up working out in my favor, so what do I care? But yeah, that was awesome. Get that thing out of here. And then he sacked Vikavolt to the rocks, and I'm like, yes. And then lastly, we're going to talk about this episode is MDL quarterfinals. And MDL quarterfinals, I choked in more ways than one. First of all, Rose led with Choice Scarf Ogie Dogie. Now it's Ryan time. And killed my Raichu with a high horsepower. Turn 1. And I was like, okay. Let me bring the third gene on Wisp it. Wisp missed. Oh god. Let me try something. So I brought in my Regidrago. And it took a hit, nice. Took about a third from the high horsepower. She switches into her Whimsicott as I Dragon Dance. I go for the Fire Fang, gets close to killing, and I click it again, forgetting that Earthquake kills from that range, and I missed my Fire Fang, and I got the absolute crap snapped out of me by a Moonblast. I was able to block a Stun Spore courtesy of my safety goggles, which was part of the reason why I was able to chip it as far as I did. But I was just didn't work out. And so I had to kill it with Mean Shao with a U-turn, which I did. And I missed Stun Spore, thankfully. That would have, really hampered my style if it hit. Then it really only came down to Bubby. I honestly made a mistake. I feel like, because the Bubby set was Sheer Force Life Orb. I was going to run Terra Grass as a way to eat hits. But there was just one problem, and I probably should have in retrospect, because after I got Klefki's set up, it wasn't really enough because Tinkaton was just being a giant pain, paralyzing me. I got up my light screen, and I didn't have Reflect, kind of wish I did. I had Psychic for Ogie Dogie, because Klefki actually can be somewhat offensive, and Klefki, with the set that I had, would have been able to eat the Ogie Dogie Close Combat for breakfast. But it's whatever. It's whatever. I am just upset. At that point, it was just like Ogie Dogie just wins. So I could have won that game probably if some of the hacks went my way, or if I was just smarter, or if I had some other stuff on like Klefki or Bubby that potentially would have helped me out. But Bubby actually popped off that game. That was the one thing I wanted. It was Bubby to pop off. And he did. He ended up getting 3 kills. I think that's the most times Bubby's ever gotten many kills in a single matchup. Because the last time a Bubby of mine ever got any kills whatsoever was Appleton in week 4 of ZDL. And Tauros got a few in ODL season 2. Not that much, but it was enough. It got a few kills. It didn't get that many. Probably got the same amount Dragapult did, and it was brought to more games. So, so far I haven't really had a Bubby pop off, but that Bubby right there, that was actually the one good game any of my Bubbies have ever had, and I ended up losing that game. So, shout out to Bubby the GOAT for that game. I sucked. I sucked that game. And she brought the same 6 Pokemon that she brought last time, so just with different items and strats. And it ended up working out for her. So, am I upset that season ended the way it did? Yeah. And then Zach Parrott ended up winning the league, so it was just like, well, I probably would have lost that game rematch anyway. So, honestly, looking back, it didn't really upset me that much. And Zach Parrott won the whole league anyway. But it would have been funny. Well, actually, no. J3, so my second opponent would have been Zell. My next opponent would have been Zell, and I know Zell wanted to rematch me, like, immensely. Like that. Like, Zell wanted to fight me again. And he likes to cook against me. So honestly, I think I could have won that match. But I guess we'll never know. There's a good chance we might fight in PTL postseason, but one, I have to start winning games. And this is a foreshadowing to next week. Because PTL, I have not talked about those games yet. But if you've seen them, then you know. We'll do that episode hopefully soon. But yeah, I gotta make PTL playoffs first, and I think right now I'm number 11 on the seeding. So yeah, if I don't start getting wins, and I'm gonna lose my mind. And literally all of my opponents are now finding rep coaches. So I don't know what you want me to say. I don't know what you want me to say, because all of my opponents are now switching coaches, and it's just like, what about that? But we'll see. We shall see, indeed. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe too. I haven't posted a video on this channel in a while, and honestly, I'm very sorry about that. But I do have a draft battle coming up. Honestly, by the time you're seeing this, it might either be happening soon, happening right now, or have already happened. I just haven't uploaded it yet. So, wish me luck. PTO Week 5 against a guy who nicknamed his Pokemon after McDonald's food. So, yep. We shall see how that one goes. And I am very excited. I am very excited for this battle. I am hopefully going to cook this guy. We shall see what happens. I am your coach of the Pacific Solutions. My name is Zach Attack. I hope you have a glorious day. I will most certainly see you all on the flip side. Peace!